Hello, everyone. Good morning, Westview. We hope you're having a great day. Um, Welcome to the Next Issue podcast, the podcast where we talk about all this fun things. I'm saying that because I just realized that in the video we don't get that the recording you made for introducing the podcast, Clay.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'll figure out a way to put that in here. But so today our main topic is going to be what happened?
You froze.
Okay, yeah, okay. I saw that. I was like, "What the hell?" Okay,
it was like a cliffhanger. You just went.
It's gonna be.
it's gonna be WandaVision.
Oh my
god. We're gonna talk about. We hadn't really discussed the. I think there was one episode where we talked a little bit about.
Yeah, we touched on it briefly.
Something, but we really wanted to save it because I feel like there's so much WandaVision stuff going week to week.
Yeah,
I don't
think if you watched the first episode, any commentary you did at that point was gonna pan out to the last episode.
Yeah, so we'll touch on that for our main topic.
I will say that I did have one thing correct, and we can get to that later.
Great, but first, let's go to our first segment. Previously on Next Issue, and we'll just talk about what we've been reading, watching, doing, and stuff for the past week. So, Clay, you want to kick us off?
Sure. I picked up the Future State Catwoman book for Shelby and ended up reading it and ended up just looking through the book at the art because it's Otto Schmidt doing the art. Man, just him doing character costume redesigns are incredible. That's worth getting the book by itself. I've been reading some old heavy metals, and I have come to the conclusion that was pretty much just a whack-off book. People every strip is like a woman naked wandering a desert or something. She encounters someone, she has sex, then she's walking in, she's naked. There's like one good story in the first 5 issues, and it's the Richard Corbin Den story that makes it into the movie. Early Richard Corbin's great, but again, he's kind of participating what everyone else is doing. He's just drawing naked women. Are you reading the Tom King Clayman Batman Catwoman?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I just read the first 3.
Okay. What do you think so far?
I mean, it's Clayman, so the art's perfect.
Yeah.
I need more. I need more.
Yeah, this one's tough to read week to week or month to month. But yeah, the art's really cool. I like where the story's going. Like, I like everything they're bringing and everything we're seeing in the previews and stuff. Like, I think that's cool. But for sure, I think it feels like very slow paced.
Very.
Yeah,
but again, it's worth reading. It's worth looking at Clayman art.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I got a book that I started because of the movie I watched last week about National Lampoon and Doug Kenny. It's called Mr. Mike: The Life and Work of Michael O'Donoghue. He was a writer for National Lampoon, and he went on to write for Saturday Night Live. He is in the first sketch Saturday Night Live ever does with John Belushi. He comes on stage and he's teaching John Belushi English, and he says, "I would like to feed your fingertips to the Wolverines." And then John Belushi is just repeating that. If you even remember that sketch, this was the early days, Daniel. This is what we used to do for fun.
Was Saturday Night Live in black and white back then?
No, it's always been in color.
In Technicolor. Okay, cool.
But yeah, I'm kind of digging that. There was another National Lampoon guy, Tony Hidea, who passed away this week. And it is wild knowing that these were the guys that I kind of loved comedy from. And then as you read, discover more, they're pretty terrible people.
Yeah.
But I just kind of want to be aware of who they are and because it's still like comedy that I learned and appreciated, even though they're like terrible people. I kind of am trying to deal with that association. If that makes sense.
I thought about this past week. It was a different time period. You know, it's like certain shows you watch in the 70s, and it's like you still find them funny, but you realize that the humor wouldn't go over today. But it's like family members. I mean, they're, as much as I love my dad, he was a product of a different age, and there were certain things he just couldn't get past. And you weren't gonna kick him to the curb or exile him. You know, you just have to accept him for what it is. So it's just, you know, like, I mean, look, I was thinking about like growing up watching the All in the Family. You know, it was Norman Lear not being racist, but having a syndicated family on TV who the main actor was racist and played. You know, so it's like, would that humor now go over?
Well, they did do a live reading, and
that was awesome.
Yeah.
I liked seeing that, like Woody Harrelson and Marissa Tomei as Edith and Archie. That was doing an updated version of that story was interesting.
Yeah, I've been doing this research for this Generation X book that I've been trying to write, and one of the interesting things is looking at the films that we had as kids and the ideas that they gave us, saying that this is okay in society. Yeah. You know, and even at an early age, like in the Bad News Bears movie trailer, they dropped the N-word. And this is a movie for kids. And I was like, that was like the first Gen X group of kids on screen together. And that's the way they were treated.
Well, is that counting the Little Rascals?
Little Rascals were like the 30s.
But I'm just saying, you said first generation. Or you saying Generation X group of kids? Or
I'm saying the first time we see a group of kids on film that are from Generation X.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Around that time, the only other film I could think of was like The Goodbye Girl.
Never saw it.
Yeah,
I mean, I would think not Generation X, but if you want to go one season before, if you want to think the young generation, the beach movies with Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello were sort of like.
Yeah, but that would be baby boomers.
Was it okay?
They would be baby boomer age.
I don't know. They keep skewing what the. Like, you know, like I originally I think I was supposed to be Generation X, but now the time frame looks like I might be Generation Y just because of where I was born. Like I was tail end of one, so I never know where I fall on the spectrum.
I think they're calling those Zillennials.
Yeah,
you're not X, but you're not millennial.
Oh, thank God.
Shelby's in that group.
Yeah, but she actually turned out okay.
Well, I mean, you know, Gen Z's trying to cancel Eminem this week, so there's fights going all over the place, Clay.
Why are they canceling Eminem?
Because they finally heard his old albums, I guess. I don't know. Like, we knew about that stuff all along. So, like, we understand that some of the stuff that he said back then, like, yeah, dude, it wasn't cool, but he's changed his music. I don't know. Those Gen Z kids, they need to be entertained. But if you're watching and you're Gen Z, thanks for watching. Yeah, that was just a wild bit of news. The first thing I did was when I got in my car to go get some groceries, I put on my Eminem playlist. You know, like raising hell against the new generation. Suck it, kids. You know, that's. Don't you tell me what to listen to. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't when I saw you were writing a Generation X book, I was like, oh, which means is he picking? But I guess that's a little different.
Well, I have a couple of ideas on it. I am writing a script, but I am also trying to write like a book about Generation X.
Yeah, that sounds dope. I mean,
that's why I'll get into recommendations of why we should watch The Real World Reunion.
I saw the thing for that. I almost thought about that. Maybe kind of interesting.
We watched it last night, and it was really fucking good. It's just, it's a great snapshot of Generation X. It's pre-internet. It's pre-smartphones. So,
is it wrong that I almost would rather watch a reunion special with
Judd Winnick?
Yeah, the one with Judd Winnick, just because that out of everything I knew of that Hoyes, that's of the real world. That's the one that I think got the most play, just because of like
Puck.
Pedro being Puck, but Pedro also dying of AIDS, having gay and also having HIV. So I think that's where a lot of pop culture, even I guess the Zillennials or Millennials, whatever they are, or I guess even Gen X would kind of get more. I almost feel like that's what kind of geared more people towards the real world. What made it more famous.
Well, we didn't have the internet, but we had MTV. That was the one thing that like Generation X was watching, and then suddenly you had these people on, and they were like, "Well, these are your people."
Yeah.
And it was like, "Oh, okay. Well, then what are they doing, and what's interesting?" And they were having interesting discussions, and it was like, I wanted to be there. I enjoyed the discussions they were having. It was very interesting. And I didn't identify directly with any one person until Judd Winnick was on, but it was a group of people that had, I don't know, that just kind of caught my attention because they were supposed to be the same people that were my age, but now living in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I follow Judd Winnick on Twitter, so I've seen him do a little bit of I guess kind of like they were promoting some stuff, but I guess he was maybe reminiscing with this whole reunion coming up, like, meeting his wife and all that. So that was cool. It was nice to see. I didn't know that he wasn't on the reunion special.
No, the thing we talked about, wasn't he on the third season?
Yeah, he was on the third season in San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco.
Okay, so the reunion was for like the first generation.
Yeah, very first was New York.
Yeah. And the people on there, I mean, there was no real reality show since I think 1971. There was a PBS documentary about a family, and so it was interesting to have them follow these people and watch them. And this first season, they even break their rule because one of the girls on the show starts dating a crew person. So, yeah, the first season they immediately like break the fourth wall.
Oh wow, that's
it's real interesting to see that time period and watch Kevin explain everything's the same, and he's like, they caught us watching the riots in South Central after the Rodney King verdict.
Yep,
and now we have Black Lives Matter. Everything's just, we had Anita Hill. Now we have Me Too.
It's funny you bring that up. I was on Instagram earlier and I was watching a clip of Robin Williams' last appearance on the Johnny Carson show. And one of the jokes he first comes out is apparently it's right after the riots. And talked about Rodney King also.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a different time, and watching people suddenly have that moment where they're all together watching the world burn.
Yeah,
is really kind of captivating. I'm getting into my recommendation heavily here, but we'll talk about it later.
Okay, cool. Kyle, what you been up to?
Let's see. Didn't read much. I did read the new. Oh God, where is it? I have it here in a second. One is the new Crime Syndicate issue.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting. Like I said, it's the new multiverse, them forming the Crime Syndicate. It's interesting just because now, like, Clark Kent is Ultraman, Diana Prince is Ultrawoman, Superwoman. So basically, it's not like when they originally did the Crime Syndicate back in the 1960s, they were just different people with these sort of anti-Batman, or different versions of Batman, Superman, all that. But this one, they're actually those versions just evil.
I think Owlman is not Bruce Wayne exactly. I think it's Thomas.
I think you might be right, but it's Alfred is like his
Alfred's still like
his bodyguard.
But I think Thomas is supposed to be like maybe his brother or something like that. I don't remember exactly because they didn't really dive too deep into it.
No,
but I like the comic. The art wasn't my favorite thing, but I think I can keep going with it. I mean, it's a DC book, so it'll probably change anyways.
It varies where sometimes the story kind of grabs you more than the art.
Yeah.
And then I also read Infinite Frontier.
Okay, cool. How'd you like that? Because that's also on my things that
it put a new taste in my mouth for a good reason, given what we had with Future State, because I was so out with Future State. But the Infinite Frontier is, again, reestablishing that we have a new multiverse going forward with the new DC continuity. Like in the book, they have Flash, who basically tells Wally he's going to be the new Flash because he's going to join a Justice League that's going to oversee the whole multiverse.
Yeah.
And then they finally do it. They have a panel where they have the Justice Society. You have Alan Scott talking to Obsidian and Jade, and says, "I need to tell you something." And they're like, "What's going on?" And and he's got like this very guilty look on his face, and he's like, "Is it because how I was raised? I was in a bad adopted parentage thing, and I was abused and all that. Dad, I've forgiven you. Don't worry." He goes, "No, over the years, I've tried to convince myself that I liked women, but I had to tell you guys, I'm gay.
Yeah. Yeah, Alan Scott he came out to his kids in the issue. But
I don't know if I like this.
Well, I know. I'm torn. But now it opens the door for it. But then again, it's like I go back and look at let's go back to Titanic. You have Rose at the end of the movie. She goes back to Jack's character.
I've never seen Titanic.
Really?
That's interesting. I don't know that we have enough time to dive
Hold on, Pulp Fiction.
No, my point being is, Jack died. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. Tough.
And I'd like to take a quick time out. Titanic was like the highest grossing movie for a long time, whereas I don't think that Pulp Fiction got there. Clay.
Pulp Fiction changed cinema.
I'm with Clay on this one. Clay on this one. Yeah, but the premise I'm going with is, Jack dies. She decides to live her life. She ends up marrying somebody else. But at the end of the movie, when she dies, she goes right back to Jack. And it was always the thing, what happened to the poor schmo she married? What wasn't why she
placeholder dude?
Exactly. So now
placeholder.
And now I'm kind of like, it's like, okay, Alan Scott comes out. He's telling his kids I'm gay. So they've been wanting to make Alan Scott gay. He's going to be gay in the new live action series they're doing, which that's a different way. But now it's like, what happened to the wife he married? What happened to the girls he's fallen in love with over the years?
Here's the thing. The first time I met Alan Scott, he was gay because it was the Earth 2 Alan Scott from the New 52. And I've never known Alan Scott not to be gay until I went back and read some of the other stuff. So to me, this doesn't feel like jarring because it's like, well, yeah, that's who he's always been. To me, he's always been that character.
But what about the people who've been reading him since he was created? And
those stories are still there.
The thing I don't like about taking old characters and changing them is just, like you said, all the relationships and storylines that were a part of it are suddenly not
voided out. It's like, they're not, I had 2 kids. I told myself I was in love with this woman. We had 2 kids, and now I'm starting to tell you she never meant anything to me. It's like,
I don't know that she doesn't mean anything. I think that really happens in real life where men don't really know.
True.
People, they just don't know, or they don't want to accept it, so they go along with the norm. It doesn't mean that those people didn't mean anything to them.
Yeah. I'll take Alan Scott over Iceman. I'm just really I don't like the xmen change with Bobby.
Well, once again,
I want to hear.
Well, that's kind of when I started reading X-Men too. So see, so all those things are happening. So that all happened around the 2010s when I was getting into comics. So all that stuff doesn't feel as jarring, I guess. I don't
take you back to 1962. Comic book hits the presses. It's Uncanny X-Men and the appearance of an Iceman, Bobby Drake.
I like adult Bobby talking to time displays young Bobby.
I remember that one. Actually, I enjoy.
I love because he's like it's like if you could advise your younger self on all the things you messed up, try to lead you to a better path.
Adult Bobby's telling young Bobby, "You're more mature than I am."
Yeah.
If young Clay hears this, don't get married to your first wife. Do more drugs.
You should be more specific. As to what kind of drugs?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm sure we can probably do a whole show on retcons like that.
I'm not I'm okay with the way they're doing it because at least they're acknowledging that there was a previous history, had the 2 kids. It wasn't like they just like that. Like let's say with New 52, old Wally West is out. We have a new Wally West who's African American, and there's no indication of the previous one. At least this one, there has been a history. He's coming out, so now we have to see how it's going to go forward in the future. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a chance, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
Other thing I did was I watched and binged it all in one night was the new Pacific Rim animated series on Netflix.
Oh, okay. So I'm only 1 episode into that.
I'm torn. It's decent, but it got very slow at times, and 2. As much as I love Japanese giant robots, I've just never been a big fan of the Pacific Rim franchise.
The first movie is great. The second movie is trash.
Yeah, but even the first one was I watched it once. I was like, okay, and I was done with it. It's just, it's just these robots, and then
I really like the first one a lot.
Yeah, me too. Well, I don't think Charlie. What's his last name?
Charlie Hunnam.
I don't think he is a leading man type. And even though they have like a lot of different people, they don't really focus enough on the other people. And his storyline to me is completely boring.
Yeah,
and
Idris
then the
Elba's
robots
character
become
was a lot. Idris
Yeah.
Elba's character was a lot more interesting, I think. And then, what's the name of his co-pilot?
Oh, I know. I can't remember.
Yeah, but she's like, her story is really interesting because
Yeah.
like she's been through so much too, right? And like,
The flashbacks were awesome. I mean, if they had just focused on her, that would have been a better movie.
yeah.
I will say this: the series does not pull punches. When they kill somebody, they kill them.
Well, I love the premise. It feels kind of like it starts off with like kind of like Lord of the Flies because all the kids are left in this valley to fend for themselves because they're kind of stranded trapped with all the kaijus. So I'm looking forward to finishing. It's only like 6 episodes, I think, anyways.
6 or 7.
Yeah, so
they're only like a half hour each.
Yeah, so it's just like a 3-hour movie. So, and I'm about to watch a 4-hour movie next month. In the next
month,
so.
like in a week and a half.
What movie is that?
I was about to say Scott Snyder's Justice League.
I would watch that. I would be excited.
You mean the movie with the subpar Superman?
Well, I don't want to leave again because we only.
What's his name? Is it Henry something?
Henry Cabal or Henry Cavill?
I'm gonna send The Witcher after you, both of you.
I mean, the last Superman I remember is Dean Cain. So is he in it?
Oh God, I'm gonna cut this out.
You know, I keep hoping they're going to put episodes of Lois and Clark on HBO Max because I want to watch some more episodes of that.
If they hired Dean Cain to play Bizarro Superman, I would watch that.
Oh my God, that would be greatness. No, Dean Cain is Bizarro Superman on Superman and Lois. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna move on. Kyle, do you have anything else?
Or Ben Affleck as George Reeves in Hollywoodland playing Superman.
Oh God, that would be amazing.
No, Ben Affleck as the Great Ghost.
And Superman and Batman.
Yeah,
Triple fleck.
Triple.
Just want to say,
no one will ever do the triple fleck.
Multi-fleck.
The second episode of Lois and Clark, I think, still is going strong.
Okay, I was gonna ask y'all about that. Did you watch it, Clay?
I haven't watched it, but I did see that they already got a second season, so
Yeah.
they're all in. They're all in.
And I mean, like I said, I haven't been this excited for a CW show since like the first season of Arrow.
Yep, I'm excited. I watched it live. If anybody that follows her on Twitter, I tweeted along to it, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. That was fun on my end. No spoilers though. Like I kept it no spoilers.
Yeah,
Just a lot of reactions there.
You learn more about the new Luthor though. There's at least that. I'll get that much. And there's already something that Daniel's probably seen the things, but there's already something that this episode did that beat out Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, we'll see. But I did enjoy that they are still filming this as a movie. Like it's still in the widescreen format.
Yeah.
So it looks like the whole season is going to be like that. That's really cool. I did read that we're going to have to take a break in May because of they had some issues shooting while like somebody got COVID on set or something like that. So they had to shut down production for a little bit. So they're going to bring in Supergirl to fill in the time slot until they come back.
No, we talked about this last week. We were talking about what the time frame for the show is.
Mm-hmm.
By episode 7, we're going to figure out what that is, because episode 7 is directed by Diggle, and he's going to be here in the episode.
Oh, dope! Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Diggle's supposed to hit like all the shows.
He's going to be Supergirl, right? Flash, and Lois and Clark. Superman and Lois. Jeez, that's going to be hard to do that. But apparently he's
the ring.
We don't know. He hasn't said anything. All we know is he's directing. He's going to be in the episode. So that's going to give us a time frame of when this actually happens. Is it current? Yeah. Is it future? Or what?
Or my power rings. John Diggle, call me. I've got some.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, I'll just touch on what I've read the last week real quick. The first thing I read was Batman 106 by James Tynion IV and Jorge Jimenez with colors by Tom Moreau. This is the first Infinite Frontier Batman stuff, but it really picks up right where the previous Batman left us off before Future State. I don't think they have a lot of plans to change that. We are getting a little bit of hints of the Magistrate, which we saw in Future State, so that's something they could play with. And we get introduced to this new version of Scarecrow that looks insane. Jorge Jimenez's art And James Tynion, like they're kind of writing a horror book in the Batman series. For like a few of those pages really feel like a horror book, and I'm super on board with that.
James Tynion did Justice League Dark, so he already plays around with some of that stuff.
All his independent stuff is really weird like that too, right?
What is killing the children?
Yeah, something's killing the children. And then we have I know the Department of Truth isn't really horror, but it's still kind of weird out there like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got a really good feel for the horror. I feel in the stuff I've read. Next, we already talked about Infinite Frontier. The only thing I'll say is this is kind of like a DC sampler of everything going forward. So if you want that, I wish it was cheaper, because if you want to introduce new readers to all this new stuff, I feel like DC could make these books cheaper.
Yeah.
I know it's a 64-page book for $6, but like you are making us buy an extra book to try out all these little stories that we may not even like all of them. So I mean, this would be a good thing to put out at $2.99, because you're really getting a lot of bang for your buck. And then you really can get a lot of readers hooked on all these stories that you're introducing. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with Wonder Woman, because she was, if you read Death Metal, she was kind of like at the center of it. And she's kind of at the center of this whole Infinite Frontier stuff too, like overall in between the stories. I also read Berserker #1, written by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint.
Interesting.
With art by Ron Garney.
I saw this. What did you think?
It's super cool. Like, it's the most violent boom book I've ever read.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane. The art is like hyper violent. The premise is really cool. It's like if Eternal, it's like if Bloodshot and Eternal Warrior kind of like combine. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with those two Valiant characters, but it's pretty much that. Like, it's really cool. It's like 50 pages long too. I like it. I'm not super on board with the whole let's do a Kickstarter thing for some of this stuff, because I feel like, Boom they're like a publisher. They should be leaving some of that stuff for smaller creators and stuff like that. But I mean, people are on board. I was talking to, when I went to pick it up, I saw the owner of Pastime in Adrian shop over there by Fort Worth. I don't remember, Hearst or something. I don't remember the name of the city, but he said that somebody in his shop ordered 1,000 copies so they could get the Keanu Reeves signed copy variant.
How much is that one?
I mean, I don't know that they charge them full, but each copy is $5, right?
Oh my god!
So if you have to order 1,000, even if you're getting some kind of discount through the shop, or even if you get them at cost, like that's still a pretty penny. Like,
must be nice to have that kind of cash.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he pretty much bought a Keanu Reeves autograph. So,
which is cool. Con. I'm sure he could have got one at a con for a lot cheaper.
I don't know. Like,
$300?
Yeah, that's cheaper than $5,000.
Yeah. I don't know if Keanu Reeves does conventions, but
you just have to wait for him to do a convention.
He will. All they have to do is announce it for a Marvel CU movie, and he'll be at the cons.
It'll be easier to just catch him on a park bench. But the book is really cool. I'm gonna keep reading this. It's only like 10 issues, I think. So, and I like Matt Kint too. I like his writing a lot. I don't know what the character I know was created by Keanu Reeves, but then Matt Kint is probably doing a lot of that heavy lifting.
And I'm a fan of Ron Garney's art.
Yeah, me too. I really like his stuff that he did on Daredevil with Charles Soule. The Juggernaut book that came out recently.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying that this is one of the only things he's done outside of Marvel and DC. Like, he doesn't do a lot of work with independent comic books publishers. I think there's like one more other thing that they found, but yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought he did Wildstorm back in the day.
Oh, maybe they're counting that as kind of DC since
because it was. I think he did a run on Stormwatch.
Yeah. Oh, I can see that. Oh man, that probably looked really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
The last thing I'll talk about is Demon Days X-Men #1 by Peach Momoko.
Oh, I got this.
It's so pretty. Like, the book looks so good, but the story is really cool too. Like, it's just filled with all this Japanese lore.
What book is this?
Demon Days X-Men. It's
Okay.
I guess it's supposed to be Psylocke, but like in a whole different context. The whole Marvel universe is reimagined in this book. Like
Interesting. Okay.
you see characters from the Marvel characters, but they're all reimagined. But Psylocke, uh, in the body of, I think, is it Quanon, the assassin?
Yeah, I
That,
think go ahead.
yeah, that's kind of who the main protagonist is,
Yeah.
Okay.
but she's a completely different character, really.
I mean, like the other books I bought this week, it's just for the art. Like you'll just go through it and forget the story because it looks so good.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed it. It's only like 5 issues, and each one's gonna focus on a different character.
Okay.
The next one's gonna be on, is it Mariko? That's Wolverine's girlfriend at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's her that's gonna focus on. So I'm excited for that. And like I said, Peach Momoko's art is fantastic. That's why all her covers just like sell out all the time.
Yeah, I bought her cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's it. That's all I've been reading for now. So let's take a little break here, and then we'll come back and dive into WandaVision.
Cool.